We started? Oh, we started recording?
So just before we start, we've released our new horror movie, Within the Darkness.
Yep.
So we'll leave a link to that below if you want to check that out and leave us some comments or a like or whatever.
We filmed that last year as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
We've just filmed the one for next year yesterday, so obviously that'll be a year away, but look out for that next year.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so do you want to get into the...
Yeah, should we just do 5 and then we'll go for... Do us 5?
Yeah, we'll do them simultaneously. Yeah.
Alright, okay.
So I've
Do you
got
wanna
any
go first?
honourable mentions before we start?
I'd probably say The Fog, although I watched it the night. I didn't really enjoy it, but I think I watched it about 6 o'clock because it's getting dark at that time now, but I didn't really enjoy it that much.
See, that's my favourite horror films. It didn't crack my top 5, but it's one of my favourite horror films for sure.
I really enjoyed it last time I watched it. I don't know, I just couldn't get into it.
Maybe I just want a mood or whatever, yeah.
But yeah, other than that,
Another great film by John Carpenter.
I can't think of one on the top of my head that I really like because I would just try to get my top 5 down.
Well, I've got 2, and they could have been my top 5, but because they were both slashers, and I didn't... Spoiler, I've got quite a few slashers on my top 5. I didn't want it to be all slashers, and the 2 I've omitted these 4, I think, are better films. So
have you also done one per franchise?
Yeah, that's the rule. I thought to myself, I don't want to have...
I think it's better, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't want to have like a few from the same... Because then if you actually did a full top 10 or top 50 or something, you probably would have all those in, wouldn't you? But when it's 5, I think you've got to restrict yourself with a few rules and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So, first one I'm going to talk about is Prom Night, which I don't think you've ever seen.
No, I haven't.
Which starred Jamie Lee Curtis. It's one of the post-Halloween... another post-Halloween slasher films. In fact, the director, Paul Lynch, said that Jamie Lee Curtis contacted them to be a part of it, and they're actually going to cast one of the actresses from Charlie's Angels, but I'm not sure which... I can't remember the name of her. But it was a very successful horror film, and it only had a budget of 1.5 million, and it made 14.7 million.
Alright.
And this was post Friday the 13th, but it wasn't in the sense that, you know, like all the imitators, because this came out like 2 months after or something. So this was made...
So it's probably made about the same time, yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe the buzz of Friday the 13th had a knock-on effect, and people went to see another slasher that was... Possibly. But it's a really good slasher film. It's a whodunit, so you don't know who the killer is. I always like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's a lot of cool things with like he's on the telephone talking to the people he's going to kill and stuff, and I always like stuff like that.
Sounds like Scream, as if that's where we got most of our ideas from.
In fact, I think in Scream, Randy says the best something about the slasher film with the all the rules. The best one for is Prom Night. And if you actually watch it, the rules they all come from Prom Night.
All right, cool.
So, and then secondly, I want to My Bloody Valentine, the original, which I can't...
Sorry, just before you move on from Prom Night though, who directs it? You said?
Paul Lynch is called.
All right, yeah, I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's actually a documentary really good, and someone's uploaded it to YouTube, and he talks about and it's a really good documentary as well on the film and that. It was a Canadian. In fact, I'm going to say the budget was 1.5 million Canadian. So I don't know quite what... I think Canadian's more in it than American.
I've absolutely
You're not
no
sure.
idea.
Well, anyway, so my other one's My Bloody Valentine, which I'm going to...
So you think the Canadian dollar is worth more than the...
I think it was then. I don't know if it is now.
I would have always thought it was less, but...
I'm not sure anyway. I might be wrong. Canadians, let us know. So anyway, My Bloody Valentine, 1981, the original version. I think the remake's good as well, actually. I really enjoyed the remake. It's another whodunit. So... in a sense that they make you think it's Harry Warden, but then it's
this the one that... Have I seen this? You let me in 3D?
That was the new one.
Right, okay.
So, but I think with the My Bloody Valentine, it's a whodunit because you think it's... Basically, there's this killer called Harry Warden, and you think it's him, but then it's nothing to really spoil it because you find out very early in the film that Harry Warden's not actually around anymore. So it's like, who is the killer? Another one of them. And again, he didn't make as much as Prom Night. It was a 2.3 million budget, but it made 5.7 million, so it did twice its money. And it's another one of those post Friday the 13th slashers that's like really entertaining. And I think you get a lot of... When they talk about imitators, they always bring up My Bloody Valentine, and it kind of gets a bit lumbered in with some of the bad ones, and it's not. It's good. It's like another good slasher film. So for me, those 2 are my 2 that didn't quite make my top 5, but I would have had them on if I could have done.
Well, I'll jump in with top 5. I'll firstly say I'm not as into horror as you are.
I'm like...
So my horror's probably going to be very different. In fact, I did think of 2, actually, I wanted to mention, and the more family-orientated horrors. And that's Hocus Pocus, which I think is a great family film.
I think that's a great film to watch around this time of year as well.
Yeah, and Goosebumps, which I'm actually going to watch on Halloween.
I think
I've only seen it once, but I really enjoyed it, and we're going to watch it again this Halloween. I'm going to let my son watch it. He's 8, so...
That's great.
I just get scared easy, but hopefully he'll be all right. But if not, he can stay up later.
Yeah, I watched it with my son actually. My son's only 2, so he didn't really understand. He was sat there engrossed by it and really enjoyed it.
He probably didn't understand it as much.
No. But he doesn't seem to. My son absolutely loves Halloween. He's like, he sees pumpkins and eyes running after pumpkins, loves big spiders and stuff.
I'm gonna have to look at my notes just to remember the order of. Cause
well, I've got my notes because I think.
All right, yeah. My number 5 is The Thing, and I actually watched it last night. I think it's a great movie. It's the one thing I love about this film is just the atmosphere of the film. It's just set up so perfectly, and the animatronics. I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I think it's really freaky.
I think it might be the best.
That bit where there's that head and then the spider legs come out. Oh my god, that is disgusting.
I think animatronic wise, it's the best.
Yeah, and I think standard. Again, I kind of feel a bit sorry for Kurt Russell because he kept starring in all these John Carpenter films that didn't do it, and they're all great. I mean, they've all gone on to become cult classics, which I sometimes don't know if that, in terms of for Hollywood, it's certainly not a bad thing, but for us, I think you get your big ones like your Lord of the Rings, things like that's just going to live on for years and years and years. But something like let's say a Jack Reacher, which was a big hit in the cinema. Yeah. In 10 years' time, 20 years' time, that's probably going to fade away, where I think something like a cult classic would stay. The test of time, you know what I mean? Where your Lord of the Rings will, and they will, but the stuff that's kind of in between, that's no disrespect to Jack Reacher, it's a good film, I really like that film, but
I
don't think it'll stand the test of time.
The Escape from New York was a hit for him, I know that one.
Yeah, I know that one was a hit, but...
And I think they met on Elvis. I think John Carpenter actually in the Elvis television movie, and I think that's where they might have met.
That's what I read,
I'd love for him to team back up. I think somebody asked Kurt Russell about it recently, actually, about teaming up, and I think...
Well, he's bringing a film out where he plays Santa Claus, isn't he? Did I send you it?
Yeah,
I'm looking. I think if it was anybody else, I wouldn't be looking forward to it because he's in it.
I love Kurt Russell.
I like Kurt Russell, but yeah, like I say, just the atmosphere, and at the end, by the way, why do they believe one of them is the thing? Because I don't quite understand with the thing now. Because they could have potentially killed it and neither of them could be the thing.
Every time they've killed it, it's come back on it as someone else.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought, but it does say earlier on in the film that it could be more than one of them. It could be more than one of them because it can spray stuff on the
there's a theory that the drink he gives Charles to drink is not whiskey, it's actually full of petrol or gasoline, what do you want to call it? Because of something that happens in the film, and I can't quite remember what it is. I'll have to look into it, but there's a theory of that. But apparently Kurt Russell had dinner with John Carpenter years later and asked him what the thing was, and he said,
"Yeah,
I don't know." So
yeah, interesting. What else was I going to say about the film? My mind's gone totally blank. Sorry, there's a knock at the door, and it's just completely thrown me.
The music's great, isn't it?
It's John Carpenter, and I think in The Fog, I felt like there were bits where I wanted some more music, where in this I think it's perfect. The bits where the music hit, the beats are just perfect. Yeah. So I just really enjoyed it, and I like. I obviously love. I wanted to call him Jet Burton and then Kurt Russell. I just think he's superb in it, and the guy I forgot his name who plays. Is it Charles?
Yeah, he's in. I can't remember his name now. He's in Keith David in it.
Keith David, yeah.
He's in They Live as well.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Yeah. I think he's great in it too.
I think he's in Prince of Darkness as well.
Oh, going back to the Fog. Did you know the bum that we were about for Back to the Future's in that?
Yeah.
And I was like, he's not a bum at last. He's a sailor. Brilliant.
Oh, They Live.
A fisherman now.
They Live. He starts off as a bum and becomes rich.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. I read something earlier about the thing actually, where I think the TV version ended differently, and there's a dog running away, so you think the dog's the thing.
Oh, right. Well, that's how it starts.
It was on. I've stopped bringing up IMDb trivia.
Doesn't the remake sequel doesn't that end like that because that's supposed to end and start?
I saw a trailer for one the other day, and the one I saw of the thing was set before this.
The new thing.
Is that what that is?
I think it's a prequel to the thing. Yeah, but
I'm not sure.
I've heard it's alright.
But I did. I kind of don't.
Is that your number 5 done then? Can I?
All I was going to say is the budget was 15 million, but it only grossed an unfortunate 17.7, nearly 8.
Yeah,
US dollars. That's not worldwide because finding worldwide stuff for 18 years is virtually impossible.
It got a lot of flack for it, didn't it? Because it was post ET and it wasn't a friendly alien film, but.
Yeah, but no, I really like it.
Ironically, ET was going to be a horror film originally.
And again, and again, I think this is one of them. It's cult classic, and people still talk about.
Well, people love it now, don't they? In fact, a lot of people say it's John Carpenter's best film, and I think it's probably on a technical level, I'd probably say it is his best film.
Yeah, it's really good.
So my number 5 is Creepshow. which is an anthology movie which was directed by George Romero and written by Stephen King, and I think that's what makes it so special. And it's very much based off of the comic. I brought the comic round, it's right behind me. I got that off my wife quite recently. It's very much based off the EC Comics Tales from the Crypt, and it's those kind of like ironic tales, and people get the comeuppance. And
It's not to do with Tales from the Crypt.
no, but it was their homage. I think if they could have called it Tales from the Crypt, they probably would have just called it Tales from the Crypt.
There's a skeleton on the thing.
Yeah. Well, there's basically a wraparound story about this father don't want this kid reading this comic, and the kid actually is Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son, funnily enough, who's a writer in his own respect now. Yeah, and I obviously don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but there's 5 really good stories in it. There's Father's Day, which is about a father who comes back from the grave.
Okay.
There's the Crate, which is about they find this crate and it's got this thing in it.
Have I not seen this? It doesn't sound familiar.
I don't know if you have. The Crate actually, funnily enough, has something printed on it, a stamp, and it's apparently it's just something about Antarctica, and it's linked to the thing, because I think he was making the thing at the same time or something.
Alright, okay.
And then there's Something to Tide You Over, which has got Leslie Nielsen in it, and he takes revenge on his wife was cheating on him with another guy, and he takes revenge, and he's kind of a bit evil, and he buries him, and they come back. You might have seen it a long time ago.
Yeah, maybe I have, because I just thought it doesn't. I just remember. I seem to vaguely seem to think I've seen Leslie Nielsen in something like this.
Yeah. He's quite good in it as well, because he's actually a really good serious actor. I'll give him credit.
Yeah, well, I think before Aeroplane he was a serious actor. That's why everyone loved Aeroplane, because suddenly he was doing this comedy.
It's called Aeroplane, by the way. It's called Airplane.
All right, Airplane. So yeah.
Yeah, there's the last story in it's about this guy who gets attacked by cockroaches. It's E.G. Marshall who plays the father-in-law in Christmas Vacation.
All right.
Yeah, he's in it. And then another story, which is actually earlier in the film, but I couldn't remember, it was The Lonesome Death of Geordie Verrill, and Stephen King plays the title guy. In it, he's like the main guy in it, and it's kind of like he's playing as like a country hick who he finds a meteorite. It's one of them. If you don't like silliness, you're probably not gonna like it, but I do. It's really funny. So for me, that is like the perfect anthology film. I think there's been good ones since, like Trick or Treat, for example, years later, but I still think this is like the gold standard of anthology films, and that it was a decent sized hit for him. It cost $8 million to make, and it made $21 million at the box office. So again, can I just say my box office? I don't know if they're on the domestic, but that's what I got off Wikipedia.
Where did you get them from? Oh, Wikipedia. I generally use Box Office Mojo, because that will tell you. And to be honest, IMDb is pretty good. I sometimes double check them, because sometimes you'll get some really strange worldwide box office that doesn't match the.
Well, I kind of thought,
lower than the US grossing. So I always go on Box Office Mojo.
I kind of thought
just check them out.
It'd probably be around about right if it's not quite right. So I was okay with that. So yeah, for me, that's my number 5 Creepshow.
Cool. My number 4 is Gremlins. It's a great little film, and I watched it this Christmas. Just gone. Well, saying just gone, that's not really just gone anymore, is it?
No,
it feels
close
like
to the next one.
Yeah, we're close to the next one. Yeah, I hadn't watched it for a long time. I generally always forget that. It wasn't until this morning I remembered Corey Feldman's in it, and I'm like...
Yeah.
I'm like, I always forget he's in it, but he's really good in it as well. I don't know why. This actually was my number 3 till I watched a film this morning, because we had an extra hour in the UK. And I didn't wake up any later. I woke up at normal time, so I was like, oh my god, it's like 5:30. Oh wait, no, that would be 6:30. So that's probably normal time.
Yeah.
So I got up anyway and watched another film this morning, and that made me put that further higher up my list than it was before. But yeah, I just love, like, obviously you got Mogwai, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cutest thing on the earth, and then he has these little, I suppose, babies.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, really. Well, I suppose they're kind of cute.
Yeah.
In a way, and then they get. Is it they get fed after midnight?
It's always after midnight, though, isn't it?
And you're not supposed to do that. And
so when can you feed them? Like 7 a.m.
I get a bit confused between what happens in 1 and 2, but is it the one where there's one smoking? He's dressed up like a detective.
That's 2, yeah.
Is that 2?
2. It's almost like in 2 he thought he was going to spoof himself a bit. Because I think 2's hilarious. I think it's a great film.
But 1's kind of serious.
I think it's quite horrific when you watch it now. I don't realize how that it really delves into the horror.
Yeah, I think it's definitely much more horror than it is comedy. But there's also that light tone in there as well. So
definitely.
You can watch it with I don't know what age it is. Gremlins, is it a 12 or something?
I'm not sure. I'm probably.
Can't be a 15, can it? Surely.
Don't know. It might be.
I've got it down there, but we'll.
But it's
we'll
like there's like a bit in there where one of the gremlins melts. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? And
yeah, all the stuff
really
looks
good.
really good. Yeah,
the effects are brilliant.
This is the one with the cinema as well, isn't it? With the
no, that's two. That's where Hulk
is that
Hogan.
two? No. The run behind the cinema.
I thought you meant the bit when he's
the
like,
shadows. No, I remember
Rusty
that.
Gremlins 2!
I haven't watched Gremlins 2 for a very long time.
It's really funny, Gremlins
but there are
2.
bits that I kept thinking this morning. I was like, oh.
I almost feel like Spielberg was kind of taking the mick out of sequels a little bit with Gremlins 2, because it was almost like, you know, sequels are never as good as originals. It's almost like he thought, right, I'm just going to make this like off the wall.
I seem to remember it being funnier.
It's quite meta as well in parts, yeah.
But again, as generally I always talk about the music in this one, the Christmas music, because I remember you saying it was a Christmas film, and I'm like, this isn't a Christmas film. And I watched it, Christmas, and I'm like, it's so Christmassy with the Christmas music.
Yeah,
it's definitely a Christmas film to me. And it's horror as well. So and you can watch it, I suppose, either time of year. A bit like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, there's the guy in who's he's like the neighbour.
That one should have been an honourable mention. Nightmare Before Christmas. That's possibly, a great one.
Doesn't he drive a tractor through his house or something?
Yeah, something like that.
He's in the second one as well.
Yeah,
he fights that one, that gargoyle one that gets covered in concrete.
Yeah, brilliant.
So have you got any stats on?
Yep, I believe I have. The interesting thing with this, although it was directed by Joe Dante, I noticed the writer was Chris Columbus. I didn't know that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he's obviously wrote a lot of stuff that we like. Did he write Home Alone or did he direct Home Alone? I always get confused between which one he did. But anyway, he's involved in that, and his name crops up a lot when I like stuff. So,
but I was saying Spielberg. Spielberg produced this, didn't he? On the second one, I'm sure he did.
I've not a clue.
Pretty sure. Because Spielberg had they reckon Spielberg directed Poltergeist.
Yeah, something to do with the unions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
it's a bit strange. Yeah, so I don't know if this was. I'm not saying he directed this, but from what I've heard, I think he might have been on set for quite a bit.
Right.
If I'm getting that right,
me, it seems to be along his sort of lines. But
yeah.
He had a budget of like 11 million. It grossed 148.1 million. So
right.
I haven't actually wrote US on this. I'm presuming
that's pretty staggering amount to make it.
That's like massive.
It's amazing there hasn't been a Gremlins 3 or another Gremlins film since 2.
I think maybe they just thought there's nowhere to go. Don't ruin it. Don't dilute what you've created.
They won't do that nowadays, though.
Oh god, no! They'll just keep making them until somebody's like Walking Dead, and please stop watching The Walking Dead.
Well, no, people can watch it. Don't want to watch it.
No, just stop watching it.
So shall I go my number 4?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Fright Night, directed by Tom Holland.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Not Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
To be fair,
Tom Holland.
Because I'm not as massively into horror as you, I actually struggle to think horrors. But yeah, I just said that's not an honourable mention.
It's very
for me
much.
Too.
It's very funny as well. It's not. It's
a bit tongue in cheek in it.
It's a little bit like I see it as a little bit like Superman, where Superman was, although it was taken seriously, it's still
comedy
fun. Yeah, the comedy, and I feel like the same about this. And it's like,
I agree with you.
It kind of takes the mick out of like old vampire films. Like you got Peter Vincent in it, and to show like the footage of him when he was like in like an old Hammer style film, and he's got like the stake the wrong way around and stuff, and they did it on purpose, you know, things like that and stuff. But it's just a fantastic film. I think my dad introduced us to it.
Probably, to be fair.
Probably introduced me to all these films.
Dad, yeah. The other one that he got us one at Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn.
I've actually recently just bought that.
There's so many films. I mean, I think we love films because of my dad, basically. And
yeah, he was massive into films, wasn't he? So.
But Fright Night, for me, it's like the perfect, like, you know, like I was talking about Summer of '84 and all that, and Disturbia. This is a similar sort of thing. My neighbour's a vampire.
Yeah. I kind of like that. There's something about that American neighbourhood and that.
Yeah, well, it's
all sort of set in that enclosed sort of area. Yeah, I like that.
It's very much in that tone, and one of the big things about the film, I think people don't know, is that it had a really good soundtrack, and that soundtrack was massive. And Brad Fiedel, who did Terminator, he did the music for it. And,
I think that your number 4 is going to link into my number 3 in terms of soundtracks. A lot of 80s tracks in there. And my number 3 has got.
Well, I think a lot of the songs were written for the Fright Night film.
Yeah. I think it seemed to be the thing in the 80s. One of the 80s that they put songs in. Where now you get more. It's a tune and you get some songs in, but it's more about a score and music than
I know that Tom Holland asked to come back for 2, which was a bit bizarre. They got Tommy Lee Wallace to do it, who directed Halloween 3 and it.
Alright.
Jerry, they wanted the vampire back, Jerry Dandridge, but he was filming Child's Play with Tom Holland at the time, so he was like, well, I can't. Although I don't know that they brought him back, to be quite honest. But yeah, so my number 4, Fright Night, I just think it's probably my favourite vampire film, I'll put it that way.
I would say my number 3 is a better vampire film, and that is The Lost Boys.
I think this is better than Lost Boys.
I absolutely. This was gonna be not even in my top 5 till I rewatched The Fog, and I rewatched this morning. This is the film that I got up to rewatch.
All right.
And I enjoyed it so much. It was still dark, and I like that. I'll get it on. I'll shut the curtains when it gets a bit lighter. I mean, you've got like Corey Feldman in this again, so he's appeared again in my top 5. I think him as part of the Frog Brothers. Just unbelievable. Although I did touch a little bit on that. I watched the trailer for the second one, which was horrendous. And the third one that looks a bit better.
I'll tell you what's wrong.
The Frog Brothers are in it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's wrong with the sequels, the straight to DVD. The
Frog Brothers. Like TV movies.
Well, the Frog Brothers in Lost Boys, they're not good vampire hunters.
No,
they talk a big game. They talk about that one they killed in the bath. It's the dog that kills that one, not them.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. They do ice thingy, don't they? In the
Yeah, they kill him, but I think once they kill him, they kind of realise, don't they? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You're dead meat. That way.
Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Yeah, they kill him in that to be honest, it's not a great plan, is it? They're going to stab him one by one. They don't think they're going to wake up.
Yeah.
But I think it's brilliant that the Frog Brothers aren't good.
Yeah, there's that charm. They know everything.
They're basically like they've got all the knowledge, but they don't know how to use it.
Yeah, and they're where the I love that bit where they walk in the church and they get in the holy water to Kristen going and they're just like, cheers.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But yeah, Kiefer Sutherland in this was great.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And the one that surprises me is the guy who plays Michael. How he didn't go on to have a bigger career. He looks good.
He did Speed too, you know.
But he's really good looking as well. And he looks like, I reckon, a lot of lassies fancy, young girls fancy.
Probably bad decisions. He probably made some poor
possibly. I know he did Sleepers as well, and that was quite well known.
Yeah, it was. It's a good film. I say it's a good film, but it's a harsh movie. So
yeah, I don't remember enjoying it too much.
But I think he basically could have gone on to good things, but I think he made some poor. And I'm not saying poor choice of drugs and stuff. I'm talking about picking the wrong roles, and I think that's what I probably did.
Do you remember watching this as a kid? Because I've watched it so many times now.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to bring start because I want to talk about childhood memories and stuff for these films. And I remember we had it on video and it didn't have a case, did it? Because Uncle David gave us it, and the case had been destroyed. And I remember we had it on it was a black case and you just said Lost Boys in like a white bit of paper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Really
God.
But I used to watch this film all the time as a kid. It was.
Yeah, well, I haven't watched it now for quite some time, but I remember we used to watch it a lot, and I was sat there thinking, I know I liked this when I was at an age where I was, we weren't 15 and we weren't 15. I don't think we'd have been. I think we'd have been 10 to something, maybe 12 or something. But and I was watching it, and obviously you've got Corey Haim as well, and I think you can relate to him a little bit. And the Frog Brothers, and that's that kind of like you're like, oh, they're cool, they kill vampires.
Yeah.
I could see straight away why I love this as a kid, but even as an adult, I still really enjoy it.
Without spoiling there's a bit of a twist in there at the end.
Do you remember that being the shock? Because I
don't remember not knowing it. That's it's a bit like the Vader scene in it. I'd love to clear my mind and watch that without knowing. Same with this, I think would it be a bit of a surprise?
Well, the kind of
but the clues are there throughout the film, aren't they?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in there that makes you think it's not that. Without going into it again, I know it's an old film, but if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's a great movie,
and it's so quotable.
Oh God, yeah,
it's so quotable.
By stereo.
Yeah, there's that one in there. I always like the bit where the guy's the vampire and they're giving the garlic.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, they put water in it. Does it burn? What are you nuts? It's freezing.
He's actually really good in that as well. All I noticed in the when I was watching the video store, because it's Richard Donner, this, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, he didn't direct it. It was Joel Schumacher. Richard Donner was going to direct it. It's really funny actually.
Direct it. The director is Joel Schumacher.
I watched the making of, and Richard Donner was on it, and Richard Donner said the movie he would have made would not. He actually gave Joel Schumacher credit and said the movie he would have made would not have been as good as this.
Well, this is what I mean. We give Joel Schumacher a lot of slack for his Batman movies, but he made this, and it's a great film.
He also made like 8mm, which is it's a harsh.
I really liked that.
It was a good film. It's really harsh, but
that's got Joaquin Phoenix in as well, isn't it? A very young Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah,
I just saw Nicolas Cage, isn't it?
Yeah, Nicolas Cage, but Joaquin Phoenix in it as well. Yeah, that's the first film I saw him in actually.
But Joel Schumacher.
I was going to say anyway, when they go into the video store, I noticed a big thing for European Vacation. I don't think he had to do with that, but next to that, there's a big Goonies thing as well. It's not like as big as it's one of them, cardboard things where there's a Goonies, and it's obviously like
a standee.
It's like a box set or something. And it's stood on top of all the VHS, and I thought that must be deliberately there.
Probably, yeah.
To as a nod.
I don't know why he didn't end up directing it, Richard Donner, but for some reason I think he may have not even cast it the same or anything. It might have been So his film probably would have been completely different.
And a big shout out to Nanook as well, the animal. I think he's absolutely superb in this movie. He's great, that dog.
I love that.
But yeah, just going into... Yeah, there's so many lines in it. The Frog Brothers, by the way, going back to... They're not in Lost Boys 2, are they? It's just Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman and Lost Boys 2.
Yeah, but the third
Corey
one,
Haim's got a cameo.
2 tribes. That's gone both in, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah. I've only seen the trailer. I'm not sure.
We haven't been the Frog Brothers for a long time. It kind of looks a bit better than the other one, but still not great. It looks... So I'm pulling.
The worst bit in Lost Boys 2 is, and I don't care if I'm going to spoil it, he kills the vampire, and you're like, oh, is that it? Is he dead? You kind of think like he's going to come back. He doesn't. He's awful.
At the end of it.
Yeah, awful.
I couldn't actually find a budget. There's no budget on IMDb, and there was no budget on Box Office Mojo, but it made $32 million in the US. $32.2 million.
Well, it must have been a hit because
I would have said so. I can't imagine it having that big a budget.
If you base this against other horror films in the 80s, like Halloween 4, which was a year later, made $17 million, and that's considered a massive hit. So
the Thing was made for $15 million, and the Gremlins went for $11 million. I can't imagine Lost Boys having that kind of budget when it was set basically in one. Sort of mainly that house.
Yeah.
So I would have presumed it's a hit, but I don't know.
There's only a few sets.
I always think it don't matter this day and age because the Thing won't hit, but everyone loves it now.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China, which we absolutely adore.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter now because no matter what it did at the box office originally, everyone loves it now, and it gets released so many times on Blu-ray and DVD. Yeah. It's on iTunes.
See, I was just gonna say, going back to Lost Boys, the actual film, the bit that I never remembered as a kid was the bit where they kill the guys on the beach. It's so violent.
Yeah, it's a bit disturbing.
And listening to Walk This Way Out there, which is not the Run DMC version. It's the
is it not?
No, it's the normal version.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it's the normal Aerosmith.
Yeah, it's just Aerosmith.
Yeah, because they keep killing the same kind of people, don't they? I noticed.
Yeah, but you're right. I'm watching it like years later, thinking I don't remember this being this violent, unless it would cut down.
I think there's a bit of a message in this film. I noticed it's about him, like because Keith Sutherland's meant to be a teenager in this, which he quite clearly isn't, and neither is Michael.
He does look young going, he doesn't have his stubble. Though.
Yeah, but it's obviously them growing up, and there's that sort.
But at the same time, you think at the end that they are like lost. They are the Lost Boys as well. Like they were the kids who went missing, and you know, it's
It's
not fair on them. They're victims themselves, aren't they?
No, true. And I love Grandpa's just great in it. I just love the bit in the end. The worst thing about living in where is it?
Santa Carla in it.
Yeah, all the goddamn.
Yeah, and they're just like
they're just looking at him, and then it ends. I think that's a great.
As a kid, I was always convinced he was going to be a vampire or something.
Oh yeah.
And they're just shocked out the fridge door closes. It's perfect ending.
And I love it as well because they're all lit up by the fridge and then it closes.
They're all a bit like.
There's just a light behind their heads.
It's like the granddad because he puts the poster on around on purpose, doesn't he?
The poster.
The wooden post.
Oh yeah, I noticed when he's putting it in this time. I just puts it in the wrong way around. Yeah.
Right, shall I go my number 3?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, and I remember I've got really good memories of watching this as a kid.
This is the one with Johnny Depp, isn't it?
Yeah, Johnny Depp's in it. Yeah. And I was at our neighbour's house at the time, and I remember they said I could stay around and watch it, and I had to ask Mum if I could stay around till 11 o'clock to watch it. Mm-hmm. And I remember being really scared until the end when she pulls the dummy through the door, and then I wasn't scared. I thought it was funny, but it was good because then at least I went home and I wasn't terrified.
This was actually on my when I originally wrote my list. This was on my I was 6 or 7. It was because I was just going to rewatch it.
Yeah,
but I hadn't had a chance to, and it's in terms of horror, it's more the horror you'd watch. Not the horror.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I wouldn't watch this because
it's basically it's definitely a slasher film, but it's done in a different way. I mean, it's like I think Wes Craven definitely deserves credit because he basically that this was like a massive film in like the 80s and stuff, and he basically like the slasher genre by 1984 was getting a bit stale, and people that's why they killed Jason off. First time they killed him off properly, and then he came out. Obviously, but basically they were kind of like, the slasher genre was getting stale, but then this kind of revitalised it. Yeah. And Freddy in the 80s was everywhere, and it's actually quite amazing that a child killer is so popular and people love it.
Yeah, you kind of forget, don't you? I think because I don't know about the first one, but they certainly turned him very funny in the sequels.
It gets funny from like 3 onwards. In 1 and 2, he's actually really dark and scary, but it became a pop culture. It basically became like a MTV sensation.
That one with the TV.
Yeah, that's 3.
Welcome to Prime
Well,
Time,
I actually think Dream Warriors is the best of the films in that it's made the best and it's solid. But this is the scary one, I think, still. Yeah. And Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger is absolutely fantastic. And
he's
what a nice guy in real life. He's so weird. He plays it so well. But originally they cast David Warner as he's a British actor. You'll know him.
So I wouldn't say the name.
I'm trying to think what he's in that you'd know. He was in The Omen. He was in what would you know him from? He's in so many things.
Just show me after the podcast.
Yeah, I'll just share the podcast. You know. But I don't know why, but he ended up leaving the project, and then they basically went to Robert Englund. I don't think Robert Englund was too keen at first. I think he just kind of did it.
More if somebody
Did it
comes
for
to you
money?
and tells you what the, behind what the character is, you might.
I don't think
that.
I don't think that was it though. I think he just didn't want to do like a little horror movie or something.
Maybe he didn't want to sit in makeup for hours. Either.
Well, apparently, the guy who did the effects said Robert Englund just talked and did makeup, and he knew every story about him. So when they did like some of the sequels and they brought him back, he got another guy to do his makeup because he didn't want to hear all the same stories. But yeah, anyway, fantastic movie. And actually watching it now, and I never noticed as a kid, the whole film might actually be a nightmare because the ending is so crazy. You don't actually know if she's asleep or when she actually does. If she
I vaguely remember. I do seem to remember enjoying this one because I'm like say with horror. I don't dislike horror, but there's certain ones where I'm like, no, I don't.
I think you'd enjoy this though. It's got this. Has got that Fright Night suburban feel as well.
I was going to rewatch it to be fair. I just haven't got around. I didn't rewatch Gremlins, didn't have time.
Right.
But I only just had time for Lost Boys this morning, and that was only because I got off really early.
Well, one of the best moments in it is when he pulls Johnny Depp through the bed, and it's like iconic. I remember that. I don't know if anyone's got that much blood in him, but it's a great scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Nightmare on Elm Street for me, it always made my top 5 because it was such an iconic film. And as a kid, it was one of the things. I mean, obviously, at school in the 80s. I was at school in the early 90s, but it one of those films like Candyman and stuff where everyone was like, have you watched Nightmare on Elm Street? And everyone had to watch it, and it was like went through that period of. So yeah, for me, that's my number 3, and it was 1.5 million budget, and it made 25.5 million, so it was a huge success. In fact, I think the 4th one is the biggest one of the lot, and that's the one where they went really MTV for it.
Yeah, I never touched on actually with Lost Boys the music, and I'm still singing. I still believe in my head.
Yeah.
And there's that song that.
Thou Shalt Not Fall.
Yeah, Thou Shalt Not Fall.
Cry Little Sister. Yeah.
I think the good thing about when I watched Lost Boys this time though, I still believe is the only 80s track out of that movie that I've actually got in my playlist.
Right.
Where the rest of them I never download them, and I love when you go back. Because I think sometimes like with Goonies with Cyndi Lauper, I've got them now, so I don't have the quite same effect as when you haven't heard it for ages. Yeah. So I'll try sometimes not to listen to them for a while. And before I forget, there's a lot of extras on the Lost Boys Blu-ray. A lot of extras.
Right.
And there's 15 minutes of deleted scenes.
Alright, God.
Yeah, I was watching them like. Did you know after a while when you're like, seems to have been on a long time. I checked it had been on 10 minutes. Like, you usually get like 4 minutes or something, don't you? 5 minutes. Yeah. But yeah, so you covered everything for Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, do you want to do number 2?
Yeah, my number 2. I was going to say this links into something, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway, it's The Frighteners, and I rewatched that again this week.
Peter Jackson, yeah?
Yeah, Peter Jackson. It's actually directed by...
Did Peter Jackson not direct it?
Oh, no, I've not changed it on. I've got Joe Dante, he did Gremlins, didn't he?
Yeah.
I was rushing this morning to do this, yeah.
Peter Jackson. I thought it was.
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on box office first, actually, just because I thought this was a big hit, because I remember being at the showcase... As I don't know if I was a kid then or what I was at that age, a teenager. I think it was when my uncle owned it, and I remember seeing the cover, and I thought I don't want to see that, and it's that sort of school type of.
Yeah.
And I remember it was number 1 at the time. It was definitely the number 1 movie in the UK.
Maybe it was, but the thing is, they don't make a lot of money from international, do they? In the UK, it's not really a big territory.
Possibly not. Well, the budget was $30 million, and it only grossed 16.7 in the US. Worldwide, it only made 29.3. So it was a flop, which I didn't know. Because a lot of people don't talk about this movie, but I'm telling you now, if you haven't seen this, go watch it. Because I think it's a brilliant film.
You could have actually linked this through Nightmare on Elm Street because Peter Jackson nearly directed Freddy's Dead. His pitch was The Dream Lover, and it was all about... I actually like the sound of it, and Freddy Krueger's basically... At this point, he's got on that down in his look and stuff. People go into dreams to beat him up and like kick on him and stuff, and apparently he gets lucky and kills one of the teens, and then... That's how he comes back and starts getting his power back. And I think it would have been quite a good film. I actually think it'd be something to revisit now if they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it was called The Dream Lover, so I don't know if there was some sort of little... But yeah, anyway, back to Frighteners.
Back to the Frighteners. Obviously, it stars Michael J. Fox, which is one of my all-time favourite actors. I think he can star in movies I've really seen with Doc Hollywood, which isn't really a great movie, but I think he makes it, quite fun to watch. Secret of My Success. Yeah, I absolutely love that movie, and it's all about Michael J. Fox. Obviously, there's Back to the Future, which if you don't love that, get off the podcast. Don't listen to it.
Go listen to his top 5 80s songs we're talking about on there.
But no, in all seriousness, yeah, he's fantastic. But there's also some really other good performances. The two ghosts, and I don't know the names off the top of my head, but I do know the big black guy. He's from Pushing Daisies, and he was fantastic.
Right, I didn't really watch that.
He's got really good comic timing. I'm thinking I
remember they were funny in it
because I think from a comedy point of view, he's really.
They used to go around, didn't they? He'd not spend his money, didn't he? Because they go haunt the houses, wouldn't they?
Well, there's one called The Judge as well. Yeah, they do. They go haunt the houses, and he comes in. He's obviously
puts in like a little vacuum bag.
Yeah, he's absolutely full of it. But there's the guy in the house as well who's got a bit of an Elvis quiff.
Can't remember.
I haven't watched fantastic, but the woman in it as well. I don't know any of the names because I've not printed out the cast list because we were just doing the top 5s. But yeah, some great performances, and obviously there's the guy.
Jeffrey Combs is good in it, isn't he? He's like the detective.
Oh
guy
God, yeah, God, he's so weird in this.
Who was it?
I think he's. How popular was Jim Carrey around this time? Because he seems to be very Jim Carrey in this movie.
Yeah, but Jeffrey Combs has been acting a lot longer than Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I know, but his performance in this, I've seen Jeffrey Combs in other things. I've not seen him.
I have. He's always a bit.
Oh, is he? Oh, maybe.
He did that the Reanimator films.
Oh, of course, I hadn't seen him. Yeah. Yeah, he's fantastic in it. There's also Judge, who is the guy who played the original, and you always forget his name, Adam's Family, the dad. Oh, I won't come to me. But anyway, it's him. He's great in it too. He's
the cowboy guy?
Yeah, he's shooting the guns and stuff. And obviously you've got Jake Busey, absolutely nuts.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot you were
Yeah. Would highly. I think the reason this.
He's the bad guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the reason this might have not done so well is because if you look at that cover and you hear the Frighteners, I think you could be expecting a different film.
Yeah, and it's not.
And it is horror, but it's a bit like Lost Boys, where it's comedy horror. It's mostly, I'd say, horror and mostly serious with own comedy elements that make it humorous.
Yeah.
And I think this is exactly like that, and it's just a great movie to watch. And if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend going to watch it. It's just fun. Yeah, it's fun to watch.
It is a good film.
It does have its serious elements, but it's also got that comedy type.
His wife passed away years ago and stuff.
Which obviously not spoiling too much, but when you see the ghosts and they're lifting the babies and stuff, and you already know that he's full of it. You just don't know how he's doing it. Because I remember the beginning of the film, and I'm like, how is the bed moving? I can't remember how this works. And then I forgot about the two again. I'm like, that's how they did it, yeah.
Well, he can see him because
Kelly really likes his.
He can see him because he had near-death experience, didn't he? Which his wife died in, didn't she? Yeah. That was right.
Yeah.
I had to remember. Is that your number 2 done then?
I went for the box office, didn't I? Yeah.
Right, so mine, I'm going for Friday the 13th Part 2, which I think is
number 2.
Yeah. 2 is 2, yeah. It's basically takes everything they did right in the original and makes it better, I think. The only thing that lets Part 2 down is it got heavily censored by the MPAA. What sort of think of them, but basically because the first Friday the 13th was kind of so gory at the time, and then the MPAA afterwards, because they got a lot of flack for letting Friday the 13th through the gate, but then were harsh on the Friday the 13th films.
It's one of those things where these guys, it's like, what gives them the right to say what you can watch?
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
At the same time, I think you've got people who are susceptible to certain things and they're not quite right in the head, and it's like those kind of people, do you not don't want to see? You obviously don't want kids to see certain things,
no.
so it's a little bit of a tricky one, because you do get people who I think complain for the sake of complaining, and then you get people who are totally the way who don't care what the kids.
But I always think now, people,
it's a bit of a funny one.
We'll never see it uncut because apparently all the negatives were destroyed, which is a shame. So we'll never see it uncut. But then I always think if we saw it, maybe we'd be disappointed because it won't live up to the hype that's been built up it uncut.
Yeah, I think hype can be a really detrimental thing to a lot of things that you could maybe enjoy, but because the hype's there, you expect.
Yeah, because you got high expectations then, haven't you? So, but anyway, it was directed by Steve Miner, who did. He worked on the original film. He worked with Sean Cunningham a lot on these films that he'd done, and since then he went on to direct Forever Young and Halloween H2O, which was
all right. Yeah.
And obviously Friday the 13th Part 3 after this, and then
Halloween H2O is the one I won't mind watching again, to be honest.
Yeah, I like H2O, yeah. But anyway, it's just one of them films. It's they bring Jason back, and it's a bit like, well, how is he back? Because he drowned as a boy, but they kind of sort of explain it. But he didn't. I don't care. But Jason don't wear a hockey mask in this one; he wears a bag over his head. It's like a completely different.
Sorry, I just realised what my link from my second one to my first one is, but I'll tell you when I get to my first one.
Yeah. Yeah, so he wears a bag over his head and not a hockey mask, and he acts different this one to the other ones. He's like, it's in the third one, he shoots up to like 6'5" or something. In this, he's probably about 6'1" or something. But it's just
perfected his character.
Yeah, well, no, I like this Jason. I think there's something more human about him and stuff, and it's like interesting to see. And I like they never used it again in the other ones, but like he's got like this shack, and he's got his mother gets her head chopped off in the first one. He's got her head in the shack, and it's like he's got.
I thought it wasn't. Oh no. Because it's her in the first one, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's almost like he's got like this worship thing to him. He's got all the dead bodies around, and I just around this like with candles and stuff. And
I remember that.
I think part two is just a better version of part one, and for me, it's become my favourite Friday the 13th film. For a long time, it was 6.
I have to get Matt to watch it because he was disappointed by the first one, wasn't
he? Yeah, so he might like this one. Yeah. For a long time, my favourite was part 6, which is kind of like the humorous one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then
that's the ones I like. So I like to borrow Freddy Ghostface, and I feel like when it's quite funny.
But then it was part 4, which is the final chapter, which is really good and so close to being my favourite. But I just like this one a little bit more, and I like the ending to this one a little bit better. So and this was again, it wasn't as big as the first film. It had a budget of 1.25 million, but it made 21.7 million. So you can see why Paramount kept churning these things out. They'd basically release it, and the weekend it came out, it would make 4 times what it cost. Well, maybe 10 times what it cost.
You can always do horror on the cheap, can't you? I mean, a lot of like us, like indie filmmakers, amateur filmmakers, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You can just get your mates round into a house and you can create horror. It's easy. It's easy to do.
Easy, yeah.
For me, I think for
fun.
You can correct us on this if you want, but I think it's fun. But also, it's just the easiest of the genres to do.
I agree, yeah. Well, that's probably why you've got so much rubbish in the genre as well, Talk about, cheap films. I think horror's probably got the worst ratio of bad to good of all the genres. But
yeah, that's true, yeah.
I do think the good horrors are, like, fantastic.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I was thinking that myself last night. There's a lot of rubbish, but there's a lot of rubbish out there anyway, isn't there? And there's,
Definitely.
Sure, a lot of people worked hard on those and those.
How many unfunny comedies are there? They're just not funny.
I think comedies, they're hard. I mean, we tend to not.
It is hard.
We tend to not do comedy because I think it's really hard to make people laugh, and especially when you're making films with us, but with literally no budget.
No.
It's hard to. If you don't look good as well, it makes it even harder to get people, and you try and make people laugh, and you've got your friends acting this. I mean, some of them have acting experience that we use now.
Yeah.
But obviously before, when we were in MBP, and he just seems like some lads messing about. So
do you want to move on to your number one?
Yes, my number one is linked to my number 2 by one person, and it's Danny Elfman. So do you want to have a guess at what number 1 is?
I haven't got a clue.
It's Tim Burton movie.
Beetlejuice?
Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, Sleepy Hollow.
Absolutely. Yeah. I watched it again. I think that was another thing that might have spoiled the fog. Me and Lass watched Sleepy Hollow, and she really likes it anyway. I watched The Frighteners, then Sleepy Hollow, and then watched this, and I felt like we didn't enjoy The Fog anyway.
You should have watched The Fog first, maybe.
Yeah, probably should have done. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if I was going to get them all watched, and I thought I want to watch The Frighteners, I want to watch Sleepy Hollow. But I mean Tim Burton. I mean, I've mentioned him before. I absolutely love Tim Burton's style. I love
was
that.
Was this 1997? Or was it after 98?
Not 100% sure.
I seem to think this was his post-Superman list film.
Could have been, but I just love his style, and I think if you look at the colour palette on this, everything's like toned. Even the reds don't look that red.
Yeah.
The just the look, the atmosphere, everything, the music. And going back again, Danny Elfman, just for me. It was funny when I was watching The Frighteners, I'm like, this music's really good. I like this. And Danny Elfman's name pops up, and I'm like, it's Danny Elfman. I love Danny Elfman's music. Just creates a great atmosphere again.
They complement each other well, Burton and Elfman, don't they?
I think they're the perfect.
Well, I think they did. I'm not so sure now. I think.
Did they both do that one? Did it cost like Big Fish? I've still never seen it to this day.
I've never seen it either. I don't think that's anything like a Tim Burton film from what I've heard.
No, I didn't really fancy it, but I like that kind of dark Tim Burton. And it's funny that he created Batman, because Batman's my favourite character. I like dark Batman. So maybe he
didn't create Batman. He
made Batman, and he created that sort of really dark Batman as well. And
he didn't. Because you had the book Dark Knight Returns and all that before then.
And he just followed that.
Yeah, basically.
But I mean, he created a movie form.
Oh, sorry, I see what you mean. Saying films,
yeah. So I think that maybe influenced me. I like my Batman.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've always liked that, and obviously, as we keep talking about actors, this has got Johnny Depp in it, who's superb. And the one thing I love about this film is how he's a really weedy character.
Yeah,
and he's got
yeah.
and that bit where he's pushing that lad in front of him, going into that light, which is I just love.
It's been a long time since I watched it, but I remember it's quite funny in the film as well. It's got a good.
It is, yeah. It's again one of those horror ones for me where there's those humorous moments. There's still that serious side to it.
I do think when you see the headless horseman there with his head, I think that is the scariest part of the film.
Yeah, that's quite. I think that's quite good with this as well because yeah. Well, evidently I heard that I'd read somewhere that he didn't want to get Christopher Walken for something because he's.
I wasn't going to mention it was Christopher Walken, but just in case it was surprise. But Ray Park played the headless horseman, didn't he? Without
the guy who, and if you don't know who that is, it's the guy who played Darth Maul in the Star Wars prequels. Yeah, I forgot about that. And I actually think that he's quite freaky without his head, and he's even freakier with his head, and that usually is hard to do. Because usually it's like when you see the monster in it, it never looks as good, but he actually does look scary.
Yeah, he does, and he goes to that girl and he goes, shh.
And she breaks the twig,
It is a really good film. I think as well, like, because
there's a lot of British actors in this well. I think it was in the UK. I'm sure I read somewhere.
Well, he's in the Alfred from the Batman films as well. He's one of the, I think he's the judge or something in the courtroom.
No, it's in the courtroom. The judge is, I want to call him Saruman, because Lord of the Rings. Christopher Lee.
I'm sure I think he's in this. Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of a different
thing. I think who he could be, but he could be that guy with a beard, and I'm just like, oh my god, is that him?
I'll have a look after, but I'm
you know what? I'm thinking it might be him, I didn't never realise. I want to close if you understand.
And is your name Michael something or other?
I can't remember.
Anyway.
But there's obviously the guy who ended up playing Dumbledore in Harry Potter as well. I don't know his name, I can't remember his name. Terrible, aren't we, on this?
But
we need to get actors' names down.
In fact, you mentioning Harry Potter, I've only ever seen the first one, but there's Halloween stuff in that, isn't there? It's quite
well, good. He don't play him in the first one, but the guy died.
Oh, right,
so he came on. But he's got real... you can tell he was a stage actor, so he's got real presence and stuff, and the voice and everything.
I'd probably put Sleepy Hollow in that. It's not Hocus Pocus, because it's not silly like, but I'd probably watch it along with those kind of films. Like, I think it's when you do it.
I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying to show my little kid it, but maybe show...
I might actually watch Hocus Pocus tonight.
Yeah. Let's do it. It's good fun
to watch it.
So, my number one?
Well, I've already seen it on there. But
John Carpenter's Halloween. I think it's the greatest horror film of all time, to be honest. I think it's usually up there in the top...
I'm nodding, I'm not agreeing with you, but my version of horror is different to yours.
Yeah. You seem to like lighter
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But Halloween, I just think it's so simple. I mean, they made it on a budget of $350,000.
God.
And apparently it was supposed to be 300,000 because Donald Pleasance cost 50,000. That's why the 50's in there. But it was just to take something so simple and make it so brilliant.
You give some weight to it though.
If it weren't for this film, you wouldn't have had Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, none of those imitations. Because Friday the 13th, Sean Cunningham openly admits he told the writer to go rip off Halloween. And that's exactly what they did. And even the ending of that with the jump scare, they ripped off Carrie, you know what I mean? So it wasn't an original conceit. It was almost like taking the ingredients and mixing them up. But Halloween did it first, and it's all the rules, like, don't do drugs, don't have sex and that. And John Carpenter said he didn't want to make it a morality tale, but it's more because they're having sex and they're distracted, that's why they don't realise what's going on, rather than... And the only reason Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't die is because she's taking notice of what's going on.
Right.
So, and again, they took a William Shatner mask, painted it white, and it's terrifying.
I always forget the William Shatner mask.
Who would have thought to do that? You know what I mean? And I mean, even the film itself starts off with, you see somebody you don't know who it is in a mask goes and kills somebody.
Does William Shatner have any kind of claim on that then? Because
apparently, I think they're threatened to sue or something, so that's why it's not in many of the sequels, the same mask.
Oh, right, so it's just this first one.
It's in 1 and 2. The mask they use in 1 is the same mask they use in 2. But in 2, it's kind of, because it'd been under a bed for years and folded up and all sorts, it's a bit knackered, basically.
Right. So what about in the new one then? Was that completely different?
Yeah, they basically made something similar, and it looks like the mask at age.
I was going to say, yeah, that's what I thought.
But no, they want the same.
Oh, right.
They want the same mask. You made me forget. I was train of thought now, so I was saying something before you cut me off. But yeah, anyway, I just think it's like brilliant. I mean, there's no blood in it. There's like tiny bit of blood. I think there's a bit of blood on Jamie Lee Curtis's finger on.
Oh, really?
That's it. But you don't need it because it's like the producer O'Neill Bland's always says, the power of the mind is the most powerful tool.
Yeah, well, that's the thing maybe what I had about the new one as well, with the some reason they had these really open, long mouths, and it's like I don't know what it done to them.
Yeah, the basic because they had money
That was
for
a bit
gore,
weird,
didn't they?
and,
Yeah.
and I just think the over top bloodness is.
But I don't think you could do a goreless film now and get away with it. I don't think
No, maybe not.
But the
Although
fun
I thought the blood in the newer one was more sort of violent than like Turbo Kid when it's really over the top and silly.
Well, funny story when after the film came out and it didn't do very well at first, and John Carpenter was making a TV movie called I think it's called Someone Is Watching, and he got a phone call saying, "Oh my God, have you seen the numbers for Halloween?" And the numbers had shot up. It started making loads of it. It was a bit of like a sleeper hit. It became a hit later, and it was because somebody gave it. It got its first good review. And the review, I can't remember the review was, but they gave it like a 4 or 5 star review and said it was brilliant. And the film made like 70 million, and it was for until Blair Witch the highest grossing independent movie of all time. But I reckon if you were just for inflation and compared to budget, I reckon it's probably still this film.
Probably,
to be quite honest with you. But it's funny because they screened it for a lot of university students, which is the university they went to. And they thought it was sickening, and they couldn't believe somebody from there. I think they were pretentious. Thought somebody from their world had made this horror film. And I remember Dean Cundy, as a cinematographer, went on to do stuff like Jurassic Park and that. He said, "Oh, we were hoping one day to become a classic." And somebody were like, "You really think this is going to be a classic?" And it's like, who's laughing now?
I don't think of something like that as if there's not something around like that. And I think it's a bit surprising the students because I think when you get older, you start thinking a bit more like that. I notice. I look at things differently now, and I'm like, that's a bit sick. I don't really like that.
Something else I wanted to mention was
when you're a teenager, you kind of, I want to say, you kind of look at it more in a funny way, don't you? It's not like realistic.
Yeah, I mean,
but when you're older, you're like, I don't like that.
I always think, not
you get boring as you get older.
Not necessarily with this because it's not they don't have the gore, but it's like maybe in a way like the jump scares, like the magic trick, isn't it?
Yeah,
the bit that gets you and you laugh and you have a joke. I mean, in fact, it felt really funny. When I watched it in the cinema the other week, I actually jumped at a few bits that I'd never jumped at in my entire life.
The thing made me jump a few times.
But yeah, last thing I wanted to say was, and we experienced this with our horror film, John Carpenter said it didn't work well in the music at all, and he showed it to someone and she's like, "This isn't scary." I think she was a producer.
I think that's a massive thing.
Then he put the music on, which he did himself in apparently in a few days or a week or something, because John Carpenter says that he works cheap, that's why. And it's such a simple bit of music and it works perfectly with the film. Yeah. And then she said,
I mean, I'm not comparing us to John Carpenter in any way, shape or form, but we did Within the Darkness. And
that's what I was saying, yeah.
Yeah, we did that, didn't we? That it were basically, we didn't think the film was very good, and then we started putting sound effects in and we're like...
Music. It was the music that I wanted.
And then music were like... Actually,
it's a bit creepy.
Yeah, it's a bit creepy.
Oh, we hope you find it creepy as well.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah, we certainly did.
Yeah, so basically, it's something as simple as that. Just putting music on a horror film can make a.
I've always said that. I mean, every one of these that I've got on my top 5, every one of them, the music I think is fantastic in every single one of them.
Well, watching, I went to see the new one again the other week, and I enjoyed it a bit more actually this time. I think because of my expectations and stuff, but there's still something missing in it, and I think for me, it's almost like basically the cut out, like, because in the sequel you find out she's his sister and stuff, which was obviously done because John Carpenter said he had a 6-pack of beer and he didn't know what to write down. So, but it's almost like they omitted the sister angle, and you're like, you watch this film and you're like, well, you didn't really need to get rid of that because it does nothing for the film.
I've been speaking to Emma, who hopefully we'll have on again sometime soon, and she said you just didn't really do it for her. There's something missing. And I said, yeah.
And I think one of the things, because I think the music is brilliant in it, I just don't think there's enough music in it.
No,
there are bits about any music, and I'm like, in the original, they would have had a bit of music here.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's the new one, innit?
I apologise, I'm very, very tired.
I have said, I watched this film for the first time, my dad put it on for me. I remember my dad was bigging it up all day, and I was hyped for this film. To watch it on a night over, and I don't know what night it was, I don't know what year it was, I don't remember anything like that, but I remember the first time I watched it, and I wasn't scared, I was just thought it was cool. I just loved everything about it, and like the atmosphere and...
Yeah, well, I think John Carpenter's really good at creating good atmosphere, and I like going back again to my films I was on about earlier. I'd say with the exception of Lost Boys, because that's not really about creating an atmosphere, that's a different way, but stuff like The Frighteners with Danny Elfman, Sleepy Hollow with Danny Elfman, The Thing with John Carpenter, those 3 films especially create that atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely. I think Carpenter films, they've always had it.
Oh, the Gremlins. I think Gremlins and Lost Boys are kind of the 2 different ones where it's more about the songs they use and stuff.
Yeah, I think Gremlins has got a good atmosphere though. It's got a bit
yeah,
dark-
but I don't think in terms of how you have to create it for something like Halloween or
Yeah,
Sleepy
maybe not.
Hollow.
Yeah.
Because Sleepy Hollow, you're creating that sort of
Yeah,
that world in
yeah.
that village, aren't you? It's very isolated, I suppose. Maybe that's the thing with me. I'm about like isolated movies.
Maybe so. Well, I think there's nothing scarier than isolation, is there? So look at Friday the 13th. They're in a camp.
Could have done Alien as an honourable mention. I think Alien. Well, in fact, Alien's a great horror movie.
That's something else about Halloween that I think works because like they're basically all teenagers and there's no adults around to help them.
No.
You know, I know they're in like the street and that, but like her father's a cop and he's nowhere. He's gone off and looking for someone else. The only one who can save him at the end is Dr. Loomis, who happens to be waiting around there, and that's by chance because the kids run out screaming and he sees them.
Yeah.
So Halloween, I think for me it's top 10 horror films of all time, and for me it's the top one.
I think it would make it. I think it'd be definitely in a lot of.
It's always in the list. In the top 5. Yeah. He sometimes gets beaten out by The Exorcist, and although I'm not a big fan of The Exorcist, I can see why, because that scared a lot of people back in the day as well. So yeah. So is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's us. Just before we go and you give the email address out, this is probably the last weekly one.
Yeah.
We'll be looking to try and get one, maybe 2 out next month. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I probably shouldn't say anyway, because we'll probably change the
mind. Well, we always do.
So,
but this is the first one we're stuck to.
Yeah. Do you want to give out the...
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at MBP Movie Pod, and you can email us at marshallbrusproductions@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment on YouTube. We'll read out. So
we've got some good ones today. We've got another one as well.
That was on this films, like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On this podcast.
Yeah, on this film.
Yeah. So, right then. Thank you very much.
Till next time.
Happy Halloween.